Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, basically I talk football and basketball on a regular basis. So I try to upload a video every single day, even if it is just a YouTube short. So please subscribe and check out what I have to say. Feel free to agree, disagree, whatever. Leave a comment. I appreciate it. Want to talk about, just the monumental matchup that is Tennessee, Georgia this weekend. The game is at Georgia, and just a lot on the line for this game. You had the college football playoff rankings just came out. They had Tennessee as the number one team, and I believe Georgia was three or four, something like that. But two top five teams, and with the number one team playing in the game, pretty significant. But also for both of these teams, I think at this time we can probably admit that these are the best two teams in the SEC East division, and they're both undefeated, have not lost a game in division. So with that, the winner of this game is going to be in the driver's seat for representing the SEC East in the SEC Championship. And was listening to Josh Pate on Late Kick. Shout out to him. He does a great job. His channel's here on YouTube and also a podcast. But the scenario came up. Someone had asked, does Georgia realize that if they don't win this game, they probably just lost their chance at a national title? And my initial reaction was, man, that's crazy. Georgia is going to definitely have a shot if they are one loss and win out, even if Tennessee goes to the SEC Championship. But when you look at the different divisions the conferences, you can look at it now, and there's a very real possibility that every single conference champion will either be undefeated or be a one-loss team. And it's rare that a one-loss conference champ does not make it to the playoff. I think the most recent time was maybe 2017 with Ohio State. I think Alabama got in over Ohio State, but nonetheless, that is something that rarely happens. And this year we could have 5 of those teams. So when you break it down that way, I think that person has a point. I think Georgia, should they lose, is in jeopardy, because I think the Big 12 representative right now, if I had to bet, I don't, but if I had to bet, it'd probably be TCU, which they are an undefeated team right now. The ACC, most likely, is probably going to be Clemson, even if they lose to Notre Dame, which some people think they will. That's still only one loss. The Big Ten, I think the Big Ten champ's going to either be Michigan or Ohio State. Either way, that's going to be a one-loss champion. The Big 12, I already mentioned that. The Pac-12, you got multiple teams that are one-loss. I think USC, I think UCLA, Oregon are all currently one-loss teams. Obviously, if they lose again, that would change things. But and what's the other conference I'm missing? Big 12, Big 10, SEC, ACC. Yeah, that's all of them. So there is a real chance that if Georgia does lose the game, that their national title hopes would definitely be in jeopardy. I believe Georgia is favored by like 8 in the game. And there's a lot of talk as if, this is a foregone conclusion that Georgia's just going to, wake up Saturday, go to team breakfast, team lunch, and just roll out of bed essentially and beat Tennessee. Tennessee is a for real good team. That wasn't a fluke that they beat Alabama. They did that with great coaching. They did that with matchups. They did that with great offensive production. And they did just enough on defense to end up winning that game. Obviously came down to a field goal, but that wasn't some bad team that Alabama just had a bad day on. Trust me, I'm an Alabama fan. I watch the games. That was a defense or an offense just carving up our defense. Like that's life sometimes. So Tennessee is legit a really good team. I think what this game is going to come down to are two things. I think number one is going to be the Tennessee run game. I feel very confident that Tennessee will be able to throw the ball. They have a Heisman candidate at quarterback. I saw him dial up Alabama again and again and again. We've seen him dial up basically everybody this year. So I think it's going to be the run game, because if you become one-dimensional against Georgia's defense, you're gonna be in for a long day. And mind you, this is not the Georgia defense from last year that was giving up, my goodness, 5 points a game. No, they were, I think it was like 11 or 13. I mean, something just silly. This isn't that defense, but they're still really good. Kirby Smart, that's where he came up on the defensive side of the ball, and he's built Georgia that way. But you can't become one-dimensional on offense and think that you're going to have success against Georgia. They're just going to put the vice on you, and they're going to make life really difficult for you. So for Tennessee, just having that balance, I mean, you don't need to run for 250 or 300, but you've got to be balanced to the point where Georgia, isn't just in pass rush mode, for a majority of the game. They've got to be able to respect the run game, and you've got to be able to make Georgia bring that extra defender down in the box, like basically how Alabama was forced to do. And then you can really start to hit on your matchups with those receivers out wide. So I think the run game for Tennessee will be big. And then the pass game for Georgia. I think they do basically everything well. But the pass game, Stetson has played better this year, I think, than majority of last year. But he also wasn't asked to do a lot last year. Now in the national championship, he turned it on. That dude was balling and did a terrific job. I think the number to me is, if Stetson throws for over 300, I think Georgia's going to win the game, because I already feel confident that Georgia will be able to run the ball. And it's just going to be, can they do enough in the air to, number one, take advantage of the Tennessee defensive backs, because I think that's Tennessee, for them, I think that's their weakest spot, is their pass defense. But if you're Georgia and you don't, if you can't take advantage of that, then it doesn't really matter. So to me, I think Tennessee run game, Georgia pass game is going to be the things to watch and the difference in the game. And to me, I think if Stetson is over 300 yards, call it a Georgia win. So let me know your thoughts. I appreciate it. Peace.